Hello there everyone and welcome back to another Zeffo mock update video. Sorry for the long wait in between the episodes here. I just got done with my last year of college. There was a lot of work to do and now I am back ready to work on the mock here. Brickworld is fast approaching and I have a lot left to do on this mock, so for these next few mock update videos you're going to see a lot of progress very quickly throughout these videos, so hopefully you guys are ready for that and will enjoy it. But for now, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we are here in the Imperial Headquarters. Last episode you saw me work a little bit on the first couple wall designs. I was looking back through the Imperial hallway trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to do for this whole thing, because it's very large and obviously there's a lot of space to cover. Now the big thing that I was kind of concerned about was if I were to do a tile design for this floor, right underneath this is the the mines, the dig site, the Imperial dig site, and there's not a lot of support beams in the middle because it's hollow underneath because that's where the hallways are. Now I do have some Technic underneath holding it up and stuff like that, but I was imagining myself, pushing down on the plates to put bricks and tiles on, and it just really scared me, and I could just imagine the whole thing crashing down. So what I've decided to do is go with a studs not on top snot technique up here on the top. So I went with a couple different designs here. Unfortunately, it does mean I'm gonna have to redo this part. Essentially, I still want to use this wall design, but I want to raise it up and then just have it on the snot studs on top bricks up top. So here's kind of what I've got so far. I was just messing around with a few different techniques. One technique that I did for my Order 66 Jedi Temple landing pad, I did that mock a couple years ago. One thing that I did do for the actual landing pad design was build a bunch of kind of squares of different colors of like light gray and dark gray and some Republic red. And I would use modified bricks kind of on the side and then put tiles on the side, on both sides. So it's kind of like a little square. So I revisited that idea. Instead of squares, I'm kind of doing more rectangle shapes down here, as you can see. And this Imperial base is, a lot of dark grays, a little bit of light grays, but I wanted to try something a little different to give it some color. So that's why I started messing around with some sand blue. I feel like it fits kind of well, but I don't know if I want to have the whole floor be sand blue or if that'll look odd. I'm just not really feeling a whole floor design that's just dark gray and light gray. The good thing about the Zeffo headquarters, when I was looking back through the game, is the base almost feels not abandoned, but not well kept. It's like so far in the Outer Rim, not a lot of like Imperial engineers or like cleaning crews have been able to maintain the base. So it's a very rusty, like worn down base. So I think the sand blue might actually work okay right there. So you can see I just started making a couple different slices or kind of rectangles right there, and I'd kind of just place them together and connect them in all sorts of different patterns to see what it looks like. But I'm waiting on a couple more modified pieces to continue that design. Next thing I did right here was this main piece that goes from down here all the way through there. I'll kind of show you guys a screenshot of the main hallway that I was looking at. I noticed there's kind of like these ventilation pieces that kind of go right down the middle. As you can see, I used some of these interesting parts. I don't know exactly what they're called. Haven't really used them before, but here's kind of the design I went with, as well as some 1x2 grill pieces underneath. And that's kind of what I have so far. I think it's okay for a first design, but I ended up finding a piece that I think works way better for this. It's like a fence guardrail piece. I only had like 2 or 3 of them, so I ended up ordering a couple of them, and my goal is to, or my plan, is to replace these middle parts right here with this kind of fence piece that hopefully I'll have here in the next couple of clips, and have that go all the way down like that. And I think that'll actually look a lot better than what I've got so far. Alright guys, so here is the work that I've done here. I replaced the middle section down here with some of those pieces I was talking about and had it go all the way down here. The only issue is there's a gap right here, and I do, just from friction I suppose, I don't know why it won't connect. I have it connected on that end with some modified bricks, but I'm having trouble getting this to connect. Not really connect, but I just need it to not kind of have this empty spot, that gap right there, because it's connected up here, and then as it goes along it just doesn't connect. So I'll have to fix that. Another thing that I did is work more on the floor on this side, so I created a bunch more of those kind of separate sections with the sand blue. And my same concern as before is I'm just not sure the sand blue is working. I really love the color sand blue. I'm just unsure if it's fitting with the Imperial vibe or not. Again, as I mentioned I think in the previous clip, I really don't just want to do an Imperial base that's just light gray and dark gray. I know that's the primary colors with the Imperial base, especially and kind of these outer rim planets, but I just really wanted to try something different, and that's kind of why I went with sand blue. I think it looks okay, but it's kind of hard to tell right now because a lot of it's unfinished. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Not really sure if the sand blue is working too well. I'm also wondering maybe I did too much sand blue. Maybe if I take out some of the sand blue, that'll be a lot better. I'm not sure. Essentially what I'm going to do now is work on a couple of different things for the next couple of clips in this episode, and we'll see if I come back to this and kind of reassess things. But for now I'm going to work on a couple of other things, and I'll update you guys once I have some more progress. And this is the next thing that I've been working on here. This is the command center. I think I mentioned kind of during my planning phases of the MOC that I wanted to have these hallways and kind of the main Imperial section right here lead up to some stairs and like kind of a control center where you can have a bunch of computers and some Imperial officers and stuff like that. So that's what this area is right up front here. I've got the stairs that lead up there. I've got some wall designs with some 1x2 like grill brick pieces using different patterns right there. And then I've also got some more rock pieces down there, as you can see over there. Kind of just give this thing a somewhat unique design as you're leading up into the steps into the control room. And I don't really have anything yet for the inside of the control room. Hopefully I'll work on that here in a little bit. Just have some windows to kind of look out and enjoy the nice view of Zeffo. And then here I'll have a bunch of Imperial crew members and stuff manning their stations and things like that. And I've just got the shock troopers guarding the entrance right now because I thought it looks cool. But here's what I've got. Very simple stair design, nothing too crazy, but I like the kind of simplistic, elegant design of these kind of flat tiled stairs. And yeah. So there's our entrance to the command center. All right, and while I was kind of taking a break from the command center and the main kind of hallway room in there, I decided to work a little bit more on this kind of first hallway. So if you remember in the couple episodes ago, I showed you guys this design. I was able to complete this wall design right here, this angled design. I got that design finished, and then I actually ended up building the other side right here. So now we have one full entry hallway right here. I also redid the floor design. I think this looks a lot better than what I had previously. So yeah, here is the entrance hallway. I'm actually really liking how it's looking so far. And then there is a difference in brick height because these are just tiled and those are not. So I do have a little bit of a one stud up kind of little stair right there, and that'll lead into the main hallway right there. And I've kind of got an open blast door because I really want you to be able to look through this hallway down here at the convention and see from this point of view all the way through the Imperial Headquarters back into the command center. I think that'll look really, really cool. Now we can kind of look at the entire headquarters so far. So we've got our kind of entryway hallway right here, and then our main large area that I kind of talked about. Not really sure how I'm going to do this yet. And then the command center right there. So I think we're looking pretty solid so far on the Imperial Hall or Imperial Headquarters. I'm going to continue to work and update you guys once I have some more progress. Alright, so here we are on the back side of the MOC with the command center. I wanted to show you guys kind of the window design that I've got right here using some slope pieces, so then you'll be able to actually see through to the command center. And I've done a lot of work here on the command center, working on a bunch of computers and screens and stuff like that. So I wanted to kind of show you guys what I've got from this side, and I'll show you the other view as you're looking down the hallway, but nothing too crazy. Just got a bunch of different computer designs that I was working on and kind of messing around with. I'm sure some of these will change eventually, but this middle one right here, for instance, is a flex tube, and I bent it kind of in this direction, used some cylinder pieces to cover up the flex tube, and made a couple computer screens right there and that are attached to the ground right there. And we've got some more computer screens right there and some more panels and stuff like that on this side. Unfortunately, again, this is kind of the back side of the MOC, so you won't really see very much of this from the convention view, but again, all this will be viewed for the actual cinematic video and stuff. But I really wanted to put a lot of detail in here because I really love like Imperial control centers. I just think they're so cool on Star Destroyers and stuff. So this one was more based off of something like kind of like in the Death Star in the prison area with like kind of this circular computer station right here, and this other one over here like that. Lots of different stuff done on the command center. I'll show you guys the front, and then the next thing I need to do is tile out the floor. What I'm kind of thinking is to go with a black pattern. Again, I kind of like the designs from the Death Star and stuff like that, where they kind of have the black tiled floors, maybe with some white tiles as well. I think that'll actually look really cool for this room, especially if I put in some lighting up top, which I really want to do. My only concern is that having 3 distinctly different hallways or kind of sections of the Imperial base, I don't know how well it's going to flow together. You know, we have classical dark gray, light gray, and then we have our sand blue design right here, and then if this is black, I don't know how well that will fit in, but I'm going to try it and we will see. And then here's the view from the front of the control center. I wanted to show you guys kind of this back wall design that I'm working on. You'll see a few computers there as well, and I did kind of a plate built on the side, and then I attached it to a modified brick on the back side, so this would be flat, and I was able to put tiles on front of the plate, and then it's attached back here, so you can actually have somewhat of a design right there. I really wanted to be there, like a cool design that you could look at, and this was kind of what I had in my head, so this is what I tried. And then I've got a couple chairs there and control stations and stuff like that, so hopefully that'll look pretty cool. And then I've used a couple of detail pieces in there as well, which hopefully looks nice. But for next part here, like I said, going to work on the floor design, and I'll update you guys once I have some more progress. Alright guys, I did a lot more work here on the control center, and as you can see, I did tile off the floor, finished everything out here, so it's all looking pretty good. But this will be the main view that you'll kind of see from the convention angles and everything like that. So for the floor design, I essentially just went with a Imperial kind of black and white scheme that you see on the Death Star a lot of times. I think I mentioned that was one thing I really wanted to take inspiration from. Here's a better angle of it from the back side of the MOC. Here you can see the design I went with for the floor design, and then I also just kind of replaced all of the different control tables and monitors and things like that. And I've got all the Imperial crew members kind of in gunners sitting at their different stations on chairs and everything like that, operating all these computers. And then we have one Imperial officer kind of operating this desk area right here. So this is what I went with. I don't know how well you can tell, but there's actually some sloped black bricks set down like this in kind of a snot formation. So it's actually sitting up, this main terminal right here is sitting up off the ground a little bit. I don't know how well you can see that from this angle right here. But here is the control room. I had a ton of fun building this one, and I'm actually pretty happy with the way it is looking right now. Next thing to do is try to figure out a wall design back here, and then I'll put a roof on and get some lights. But yeah, here is what the control center is looking like, all tiled out like this. And I've worked on the floor design a lot more here, and I think I've got it to a state where I actually enjoy it a lot more than I had previously. Essentially what I did here was consolidate all of the sand blue areas and made them smaller, and kind of put them closer towards this main area right here. And I also took out some of the tiles that were kind of on the edge of each section right here, and that is kind of what separated it, and I think it made it feel too distant, and it separated this design right here, the sand blue, from this railing design. So I removed those tiles and made it connect more to this middle section, so it flows a lot better now. And then the other thing that I did over here was do a similar design to what I did here, but I got rid of the sand blue, and instead of dark bluish gray tiles, I did light bluish gray tiles on the edge right there. And I've kind of outlined it, so now the sand blue area is outlined by kind of the normal Imperial colors, if that makes sense. So here is kind of what I've got for the interior right here. I think this design ended up looking a lot better than what I had previously, because I've now mixed the Imperial colors with the sand blue design. So I think this looks a little bit better. You guys will have to let me know what you think. Again, I wanted to go with something more unique and not the just kind of plain Imperial gray that I've done in other areas of the base, as well as a lot of other kind of MOCs that you see that are more accurate to the kind of Star Destroyers or Imperial bases, where it has a very similar look that you see across a lot of different builds and kind of scenes in Star Wars. I wanted to try something a little bit more unique. Alright guys, so I did a lot more work here. As you can see, I've built up the front side here to the height that I would want for the roof of the building, and you can see a little bit of a wall design in the back of the control room, as well as I added in some lights. I don't know how well you can see the lights on there, but I do have just a white light right above, shining through some glass or clear pieces to add a little bit of light, so when you look down this hallway, you will be able to see the control room illuminated a little bit better. So I think that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. It was a little bit longer, but a lot of these episodes here near the end of the series are going to be a lot longer because I actually have a lot of work to do in very little time before Brickworld. As of the time of recording this, I've got about 2 weeks to get a lot of stuff done here, but I am happy that the control center is finally done here, and I think it looks pretty cool so far. And I don't know if I'll be able to add too much more to it. This might be kind of the final version of it right here. Here's a closer look at what I added. You can see the lights a little bit better in there, and then some of the design that I went with for the back of the wall. I used a similar design that I did on the floor with this kind of sloped piece up there in black and a little bit of white, and then added in some detail on the wall along with some slopes there as well to give it a little bit more detail so it's not just a plain flat gray wall. So there's the control center for this episode. I guess I'll show you guys this as well. That's kind of how I'm lighting in there with some clear pieces with a light on top of it. But there we go. That's going to be it for this episode. I hope you guys did enjoy, and stay tuned for the next couple episodes because I've got a lot of work to do, so you're going to start to see a lot of progress. Alright, that's about it, so let's go ahead and move on to the outro. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you did enjoy. I had a lot of fun working on the command center. That's something I've always wanted to do in my head when I've been thinking of building one of these Imperial facilities. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and as always, leave your feedback in the comment section below. Hope you guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.